Hello everyone, welcome. Let me know in the chat section if I am audible correctly or not. Hello, I am audible. Okay, so let's wait for 2-3 more minutes so that let everyone can join. Then after we will start. Make sure you hit that like button and share it with your friends so that everyone can get benefited. We'll start at 5:10. Till then, tell your friends to join. Share it in your college WhatsApp groups and all so that everyone can join. My screen is visible. Just give me a confirmation. Is my screen visible? Okay, so let's start. Hello everyone, welcome to CodeChef GCR present Ignite CP with Expert. I am Shaktiraj Sijala, your host for the event. Let's see agenda for today's event. So first we'll see what is competitive programming. Then we'll getting started with competitive programming. How to start with, how a beginner can start competitive programming and do their first submission. Then we'll see about all competitive programming competitions and importance of that competitions. Then we'll see perks of being a competitive programmer. What are the things we'll be getting after becoming a programmer? Then we'll see benefits of DSA and problem solving, how DSA helps us and why one should do data structures and algorithm and increase their problem solving abilities. Then at the end, last but not the least, we have some important tips from our speaker, and then after we have AMS session. So for those who doesn't know a speaker, let's introduce our speaker. So we have Prince Kumar as our speaker. He is an upcoming intern at Google. He is ICPC 2020 regionalist. He is 6-star at Codechef and candidate master at CodeForces. One time he is also a novice coder like some of us, and now he will be cracking good product-based companies and this world-class international competitive programming contest. So now, with great motivation, I would like to invite our speaker for the session, Mr. Prince Kumar.
Hi. Thanks, Akhil. Thanks for inviting me to this wonderful moment. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. It's
Yeah.
it's a great pleasure for us to having you here. So thank you so much for accepting our invite.
So it's also my pleasure that I'll be sharing my experience, all those things which I have learned in my competitive programming journey so far.
Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the session.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Just confirm it once. Is it visible? My screen? Okay, let me do it full screen.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
visible now.
Okay. So fine. So before starting, let me give a quick intro of myself. Myself, Prince Kumar. I'm a third-year student at IIIT Allahabad and an upcoming Google intern. Also, I'm a competitive programmer, and in today's session, we will explore competitive programming only. We will discuss what is competitive programming, how can you start, if you are already doing it, how can you make improvements, what is its benefits, and I hope the next 1 hour will be productive for us. So let's start. So the first question which comes to our mind, what is competitive programming? So competitive programming is about solving well-defined problems by writing computer programs under specific limits or constraints. So it's a kind of mind sport or competition. So you see that there are 3 points. So we have well-defined problems and we have to write computer programs under some specific limits. So let's break them down. By well-defined problems, what we mean that we are given a problem description, which may be in a little bit complicated form. You break it down, extract out the relevant information. The description sometimes contains some background story to hide the actual problem and to make it more interesting. But some problems do have some straightforward statements as well. Also, you are given, if there are any assumptions, you are also given that it's not like that something will be used to solve the problem and you are not given that. It's simply not like that. You know everything about the problem. It is that simple. And now the second point says that we have to write a computer program, and I think this is very clear. Your solution. So in competitive programming, whatever solution you will be providing, that will be basically a computer program written in some specified programming language. Also, there are limitations that which language you can use to solve the problem. And the last but not the least, which is I think the most important, under specific limits and constraints. So whatever problem you are given with, there will be some constraints under which it needs to be solved. All the input variables, they will have some upper bound, some lower bound. Your program must run within some given time using not more than specified memory. If your program doesn't run within a given time, you will get time limit exceeded error. If it runs out of memory, you will get memory limit exceeded error. There are many other errors which you will know eventually once you start solving problems. So also there are constants in the input format and the output format. You read input in some specified format, your output must be in some specified format. And also when you are doing competitive programming, it increases your logical thinking, logical ability. So it's like solving puzzles. And yes, the competitions, that is what makes it competitive programming. There will be a lot of competitions, so we will see them now. I think that this gives an idea that what is competitive programming. So to understand it more clearly, let's see a sample problem. So you see that first you are given the problem statement. So this is a simple problem which you will solve if you have some coding background, you will solve it easily. So you see that there are n peoples and they want to sit over m chairs, and you have to calculate the different number of permutations there can be. So you see that the assumptions, you can see that here it's given that the chairs are placed in a row. So you need not to make any other assumptions like the chairs could be in a circular table. So you should not make those type of assumptions. Also, it's given that people are considered different. So the information, whatever the assumptions are, they will be given in the problem statements only. Now you can see that there are some input format, like there will be only two integers in the input, n and m. Also, there are some output format, some constraints over the input variables. And lastly, you are given sample input and sample output, just to understand that you do not misunderstood the problem. You make sure that you are thinking in the right direction. So this is what a sample competitive programming problem looks like. So all these things, but how to get started? So this is the thing which comes to our mind: how to get started. So how to start doing CP if you are a beginner. So let's see that. So first thing, to be honest, that there is not any hard and fast rule which you must follow to start CP. But yes, there are some general things which are recommended. I'll be sharing them along with my experience. So the first thing is that you should learn a programming language. Learn the basics of any programming language initially. You might have a question like, is it necessary to learn every possible construct of that language? Answer is a big no. For getting started, all you need to know is basic ones like data types, loops, conditional statements, array, string, input, output, these things. You can learn more about more concept of the language while doing CP parallelly. Now, other doubt what people have, that which language to pick up. So in short, I would say choose either C++ or Java. They are used by most of the people. Reason is simple. They have simple constructs and are really fast compared to other languages. So if you are thinking that I will use Python, then sorry, that it's not recommended to use Python, especially in the competitive programming. Sometimes you will face problems like you have algorithm which works fine in C++, but that gives clearly in Python. So it happens. Python, that will not give you much control over your code. Also, if you are thinking about C or you are using C, then just try C++ once. They have almost similar syntax, but C++ has a great library support, which you just gonna love it. And lastly, if you ask me to choose only start, and if you faster in it, there are less boilerplate in C++, and it's the speed you want in long run in CP. Also, you will have the largest community support in C++ and competitive coding. Now, learn the basic DS and algos. So once you have learned a language, it's time for you to learn the basic data structures and algorithms. So if you don't know what data structure and algorithms are, simply think that data structure is something which we use to store the information, to store the data, whatever we have. And you can think algorithms are some set of rules which are meant to do some specific tasks. And once again, I will point out here that it is not necessary to learn all the advanced data structures and algorithm at the very first place. If you are just starting it, you learn the basic one, you start your journey and learn more as they are needed. Now, the next thing we see is practice. So, the most important thing in CP is practice. The more you practice, the more you grow, and the more you learn. So, choose a CP site for practice. In the beginning, I would say choose either HackerRun or HackerRun, mainly because of their nice user interface and the relative ease of getting started. Ease in the sense that anyone with zero CP experience will be able to solve a few beginner questions because it's for everyone. Also, the initial problems are straightforward over there. They will involve direct use of some DSA concepts. You will get confidence and will get accustomed to these CP patterns. So if you solve some basic problems, you will get accustomed to the CP patterns, like how to deal with the edge cases. So what is the time complexity of a particular code? What is its space complexity? Doing algorithm analysis before writing code. You know, these things you will get clear to it if you solve few questions. It might happen that you get stuck after solving, let's say, 5 and 10 problems. That's the normal. In that case, feel free to see the tutorial, Google to look out for the solution, ask your friends, whatever help you can take, you just do that. And whenever you find a solution to some particular question, so then make sure that you code it at your own. First, solve easy questions and then gradually increase the difficulty. And once you have solved a good number of problems, let's say 100 to 150, and become comfortable with these sites, you can switch to more advanced site or more professional sites like CodeForces and Codechef for your practice and giving contests. And yeah, the one more important point here comes is the participating in contest. You can't actually call yourself a competitive programmer if you haven't participated in contests. You know, there are a lot of sites which hold programming contests, and there are different programming contests like the short ones which last for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 5 hours, and the long ones which last for 1 week, 10 days. I would say that if you are a beginner, start with long contests. They will give you some confidence. So you know that in competitive programming, it requires you two things: deep thinking and fast. You have to code fast. You have to think fast. So in the long contest, you will have enough time to think deeply about a given problem. So you will increase your deep logical thinking, and in short contest, you gain the speed needed. So you again that so how fast you should code and your speed that will come from whenever you practice in short contests. So when you master both aspects of the CP, you will really do well. And for starting with these contests, again, I think that CodeShip long challenges and hackathon circuits, they are best to start with the long contest. And if you are thinking about short contests, then CodeShip rounds, which are held, I think, 1 to 3 times a week. CodeShip cook-off, lunchtime, and the CodeShip starter, which recently started. You can participate in these contests to to improve yourself. And the last point here is that when you start, right? So the focus should be given to learning rather than reading. I think it's as a beginner, it's very important to keep in this thing in your mind. It happens that you don't perform well in a particular contest, and your rating suddenly decreases. It happens with everyone, unless you're a prodigy like Eric Tourist, who became candidate master in just 3 or 4 contests. Yeah, the rating should not bother you too much initially, and the rating will increase gradually, but eventually, if you put effort. So focus more in the learning part, especially in the initial phase. Now, Next, we will see that. So this was about that. How can you start? But if you have already started, if you have already started, then how can you make improvements? If you are already doing it from some for some times, so this part you will find it more interesting. So there is a thing called upsolving, right? So what is upsolving? Upsolving means that solving problems after the contest, which you were not able to solve during the contest. This part becomes very important if you want to improve yourself, if you want to increase your logical thinking ability. So what happens generally that the problems which you could not solve during the contest, like outside your comfort zone, so you step out of it, try it after the contest, read editorials a little bit, try again yourself. If you are still stuck, then go through the complete editorial, see if you are now able to code it or not. If even after reading the entire tutorial you are not able to solve it, then see the author solution, tester solution, or the people you are following. And even if you could not solve them, so it's not bad that sometimes you can skip them if they are just too above that your capacity at that particular level. You can skip that problem for sometimes, but keep an eye that this is not happening very often, so you do not skip problems too often. And one more thing that if you can solve that problem after reading the tutorial, so in that case, make sure that you read the author solution, or or solution of some from Redcoder, whatever people you are following. So in this case, you will understand the more ways to implement the same logic. Sometimes you find that others are doing the same, others are implementing the same logic in a more optimized manner. It happens. So it is recommended that you see other solutions as well. Now, the next thing we see is practice smartly. So everyone practices. So what's the smartness you can include in? So before practicing, try to analyze your weak area. So if you are weak at a particular topic, practice good questions topic wise rather than picking up random problems. Go in the depth of the topic as much as you can. Practice question, it will give you the confidence. And then solve problems which you weren't able to solve based on that topic in some contest. So that will just give you some confidence as well, that you weren't able to solve it, now you could solve it. And sometimes you see that the problems you will be able to solve it if you read editorial and all those things. But yeah, make sure that you are first analyzing your weak area, then working over that. But if you see that you are comfortable with every topic, so whatever topic then I would suggest personally that do random problems. Choose the problems randomly based on their difficulty, apply the filter tag, and practice those problems randomly, because in contest you do not know the what is the topic that is going to be used to solve that particular question, so you don't know. So it's better to practice problem randomly if you are strong, if you are strong in every topic. And one more thing, it is suggested that you pick the questions which are a little bit above your level. Generally, while practicing, ensure that at least 30 to 40% of the questions which you pick, you are unable to solve them. You could not solve them by any means. You have to refer to the editorials. So this is the way you will actually improve yourself. You will grow faster than others. So let's say that you got some such type of a problem that you know that you wouldn't be able to solve it, and but at least you try to think around 20 to 30 minutes, think about the every aspect of the problem. So this way you will also realize that where you will actually making the mistake. Once you read the tutorial, you will realize that where you were actually making the mistake. So what needs to be improved. uh, uh, so yeah, that is a thing. And next thing, I would say the virtual contest. they are also the best way to improve yourself. Sometimes what you see that in a particular question you guess the logic, but you were unable to implement it during the contest. So if you practice it at your pace, what will happen? That you will solve it and you will think that I will be able to solve it during the contest as well. But it might not happen often. So in that case, what you should do that you should try so many virtual contests. So the you know that when you participate in contests, it improve your speed, and you need speed. If you guess the logic and you weren't able to implement it, all you need is speed. So in that case, the virtual contest will help you a lot. I know that the CodeForces there you can give virtual contest, but I'm not sure about other sites. Now the last important thing that I see, that practice with friends. So it's good if you have a coding mate. If you were unable to solve it and he did it, you can ask for help. And that sometimes what happens that you have written a long code, now you are unable to debug it. You are unable to debug it by any means possible. So in that case, that is the it becomes so very important that your friends they becomes very important. So I think there is a power cut. Okay, so this way you see that your friends will help you to improve, and it also creates healthy sense of competition, which will again help you. So I think this is few things that if you work upon, then you will really be able to improve yourself. Now we will see the different coding platforms. So now you see the various competitive coding sites that we generally use while doing CP. So the Codechef, CodeForces, HackerRank, HackerEarth, Spodge, AdCoder, these are few sites which we often use in CP. But is it like that? You should practice at every site? No, it's not. You can practice at one or two sites, that will be sufficient, but try to give contest on as many sites as possible. And as I already discussed, so if you're starting, if you're a beginner, then start with HackerArt or HackerRank. As I already mentioned that they are good, they have straightforward problems. You will be able to implement your logic easily there. And then as you grow, then you can move to some advanced one. So you see that there is a Spodge, and I personally used to refer it when I had to practice some standard problems over a particular topic. Also, you see there is a AdCoder and AdCoder beginner contest. They are just awesome, to in initial phase to get comfortable. And the finally you can use Codechef and CodeForces. The every competitive programmer out there, they use these sites. A short contest over CodeForces, you will enjoy it too much. And it happens that especially over the CodeForces, you might be that you were doing good at other sites, but when you switch to CodeForces, you see that you are not able to solve at least two problems. Like you are not able to solve two problems. So it happens with everyone. So they face problem like they are not able to solve the problem on CodeForces, even if they were able to solve it some other sites. So in that case, I would say that have some patience. If you were able to do somewhere else, you can make it here as well. So this is one thing. So yeah, I think that is all we need to know about the different sites. Once you visit them, you will learn every aspect of them. Yeah. So we move ahead. Just give me a couple of minutes. Yeah. So here we continue. So the next slide that shows you the all the CP competitions, not all, but some of the CP competitions that are held. And the first one in this list is ICPC, International Collegiate Programming Contest. It is the most prestigious and the largest coding contest held in competitive coding community. And it's a team contest where you need to participate in a team of 3 people. Also, it's only for university, college, and university student. So what is the advantage you will get if you participate in these contests? So especially talking about the ICPC, even if you clear the regional levels or perform well there, you get recognition. You get enough confidence to tackle the coding. You get enough confidence to tackle the coding interviews, which you might have in future. Also, as I said, that this competition is for university students, so you get an advantage for getting a job offer from a tier 1 companies among freshers. And if you qualify, then you get to travel to different places, and that too for free, completely free. And that opens up your mind for different possibilities. And after ICPC, the next coding competition we have is a Google coding competition. I know there are 3 coding contests organized by Google, namely Kickstart, CodeJam, and Hashcode. Kickstart is held, I guess, 8 times a year, while CodeJam and Hashcode they are annual contests. Especially in Kickstart, all the rounds are independent of each other. You can participate in some round even if you haven't participated in the previous round. Whereas in CodeJam, the case is different. Once you qualify a particular round, then you advance to the next round. And the hash code that is a team contest. And other two like Kickstart and CodeJam, they were individual contests, and hash code that is a team contest where you participate in a team of 3 or 4, I guess. And these contests will certainly enhance your logical thinking. We see more contests. Next slide. So there are more CP contests like Courses, Knockdown, Hacker Cup. Both are individual contests. Hacker Cup is organized by Facebook, which happens similar to the Code Jam. Firstly, qualification round, and as you qualify them, you advance to the next rounds. I guess there are a total of 5 rounds in the Hacker Cup, and they are all eliminatory. So if you advance from qualify 1, then you advance to 2, and so you keep on moving. You can receive job offers from Google, Facebook, if you make it to the final rounds of these competitions and score well in the final. And also, that what is the best part of these programming contests is that coders from all around the world participate in them, and it makes a great platform to compete with them. You can compete with the global coders in these contests, and also that this is a way where you can see that where you actually stand in the world of programmers. So yeah, this was about all the CP competitions that are held, and we talked about some of the most prestigious ones, and there are others as well. You can look out for them. Next slide. So next we see that what are the perks of being competitive programmer. So what are the benefits you will get actually? Now we see that we saw a lot of things: competitions, practice, contest, but we haven't talked about why should you do all that things. I guess the why might be clear to most of you, but if your mind is still not clear, I sure that it will be after we cover up this section. So we'll see that what are the benefits you get as a competitive programmer. So the first thing is problem solving skills. As a software engineer or in IT industry, the problem solving skill. This is the skill which matters most. Is it like that problem skill doesn't like that you will be asked to solve some personal matters? It's about the solving tech problems. The employers want you to find out solution to the particular tech problems. So it's like that you are given a feature and you have to find the ways to implement it. That's what we call problem solving. And while doing CP, you solve plenty of problems. How to devise ways uh, to implement logic in form of algorithms. So that's the place where CP actually helps you. And the next thing we see here, okay, there are a lot of comments. Yeah. So the after problem solving skills, and the next thing we see where CP will help you is technical interview. So for getting a job or an intern, it will help you. It will help you a lot. For most of the hiring, the first part that used to be a programming contest. And if you are participating in contest, you know that how it feels to be there, how it feels when you are participating in a contest. Uh, and that hiring round that will just appear to you as a routine contest, and you will be able to handle the pressure which is there. You will be able to handle them very easily, and you will not face much problems in the algorithmics problem. You will find them straightforward. You know that you will solve a harder problem while doing CP, and once you face the problem in your technical round, that you will find it to be on a little bit easier side. And you know that one more thing, most of the people start preparing for their interviews few months beforehand. But while doing CP, you will actually prepare yourself for that purpose as well. Now, the next thing we see that they stand out in the crowd. Obviously, if you have CP achievements, and it will surely make your resume to stand out among all other applicants, and this will add more advantage to your resume. And if we talk about more advantage of being competitive programmer, then they are like you will be able to code faster than others. As in short contest, you require to code as fast as possible, and that too with less errors. So when you write some code, you will be making less mistakes compared to others if you are regularly doing CP, if you are regularly participating in the contest. And yeah, as you will be accustomed to handle the pressure, as I already said. You know that when you have some deadlines, so this will reflect there that you can handle them. You can handle them in a better way. And and finally, you will learn more ways of solving a problem, learn how to break down a given problem into the smaller ones, and then merge all the solutions. These things will eventually help you to become a good software engineer. And yeah, I think these things will make your mind clear that why should you do CP. These things will get your doubts clear. So if we move to the next slide, so we talk about that what are the benefits of DSA and this problem solving. So now it is almost similar that to the one we talked in the last slide. It will also help you in development. You know that when you are making some project, you know that which data structure to use there, which algorithm to use. You have a logic, and but if you have a nice problem solving skill, then you know that how to implement that feature in algorithm data structures. And yeah, we already discussed that this CP or a DSA that will help you in the technical hiring. You will not be completely new to the problems they will be giving you. And yes, finally, you will be solving some real life problems. If you reach up to that level, you will certainly apply your algorithmic knowledge to solve them. You see some real life examples like Google Maps, where DSA becomes extremely important. Also, as you know, that DSA is a core of computer science. All the libraries that we use, they are built over some concepts which internally uses DSA. And yes, I think that is all. I hope that I made things clear. And now the session is open up. You can put your queries, and we can have interaction over them. If there are any questions, you can put them in chat.
Yeah, it was a great session, Prince.
I also hope the same.
So everyone, it's time for your questions. So put up your questions in chat section and our speaker will address them. Okay, so we have a question like how to get intern at Google.
How to get intern offer at Google. So I think that CP and the DSA, what you what you do as your routine practice, that helps you when you are in an actual interview round or that sort of thing. So see, I guess that will help you.
Then we have how does CP help for placements?
I think that I already discussed that. How does the CP help for you to get placed in a good company? That you know that the what they do, they mostly as I already told that the first round, every company takes that used to be a programming contest. So if you have been in CP, you must have given few contests, and you know that what it feels to be there. So those things will help you. And if we go ahead, that if you are in an interview, then especially if you are in an algorithmic interview, so you have solved the problems, right? You have solved some CP problems, and they will not be different to you. So you can see that this is the way how CP helps you in for getting placed in good companies. Also, you see that there are things like if you are doing CP, you will write code fast as possible. You will be making less errors there, and you know that if you are making less error, then there are chances that then there are more chances that you will be selected. And if you made some error, you will be able to debug them quickly. And you know that we focus on first that what will be its complexity before writing the code. So these things, I think that these things they will help in some ways in the coding reviews app. Okay, I see there is a question that if someone is stuck in a particular rating zone, how can they improve? See, this happens. I think that this is something which happens with everyone. That unless you are a prodigy like Chodis and Arito, it will happen to you. It happens to everyone at some particular level. So what you need to have is a lot more patience. Have some patience and practice questions. So you see that you are stuck in a rating zone. So you focus on the reasons. What could be the reasons why you are stuck there? So if you see that you are not able to solve the next problem, so then just increase the difficulty of the problems you are practicing. Go for that, solve them, solve the applying difficulty filter. And if you see that you are not able to implement your logic, then you need to then you should try practicing as more contests as you can do. So I think if you follow these things, it will help you to improve your rating. And you know that to increase your rating, you just need one or two contests, or maybe three. In three contests, you can get a positive delta of let's say 20. Just have patience, and your rating that will improve eventually.
Okay, so there is one question from Seeds about trees and graphs. Would you like to address that?
That's the time of the so I see that. So you are not getting idea that when there are questions particularly to tree and graph. So that is something which you needs to practice topic wise. So you see different tree algorithms, different graph algorithms, and you practice those things topic wise. This is the way you will learn them. If you don't practice, if you say that okay, if you don't practice and you will expect that you can solve them in contest. So that is, I think, some little bit wrong. Okay, I see you. What questions were you asked in Google interview? Okay, I will take that. So I remember that. Yeah, in the first round that was a normal DSA round. So they asked me first question that was in DP question, and that was a little bit on an easier side. So the actual question I've forgotten that, but that was on an easier side DP problem. And the second problem that needed me to use is segment array. So if you have learned some advanced data structure, then it might be helpful there that you can apply them. And if I talk about my second round, then second round they asked me a graph question, which I've also forgotten that there were some bombs, and I had to find out how they will actually detonate. So that was a graph question, and it needed me to use BFS, and they asked me to make quick changes. They asked me to make three quick changes to that problem. So I think that the graph I practiced while doing CP and DSA, and that helped me a lot. So I think that answers. And there is a similar question that how you prepared for that. So for the preparation, and as I already said that when you are doing this CP, then you are preparing yourself for technical rounds. You will automatically prepare yourself. But in the last 2 or 3 months, I did interview with, I did some problems on lead code, some problems over GFG. You have to practice some standard problems which are asked in uh, interviews very often. So I practiced those problems in my last 2 months, and I think that the regular CP what I did that helped me the most in the interview. I think that I already answered that Google experience, and I prepared. Are there more questions?
There is one question: how to become 6 star?
Become 6 star sir. ये हो जाता है गर्वित सर, बस हो जाता है. I think that if you practice regularly, then you will achieve it at a certain point of time. And that just see that what are your weak areas and work over there. And in 2 or 3 contests, you can get some high delta, high positive delta, and you will achieve that. How to handle the pressure control. Okay, so pressure, yeah. In interview, it happens that you are in a pressure. You know that something that worries you that you might not get offered, you might get rejected. So just to have confidence in yourself, you know that if you have practiced, if you have prepared for that, then you will be able to solve those problems. And if there is some problem, if you are prepared for that, you will be able to solve them. So just to have the self-confidence, and I think that will help you to deal with the pressure. And you can have some mock interview, and if you especially feel that You need to be in that interview environment. You can have some mock interview with your friends. That will also release your pressure. See, being an interview is no different. That's not too different than solving. If you are solving a normal problem, then you are solving problem in some interview. What to choose? What to choose between CP and development? So I think that is a little bit controversial question. That what you choose, CP and development. So see that I don't think that it you should treat it like CP and one of the CP and development. So you will have to do both of them to become a good software engineer. You see that when you that sometimes it happens that the people doing development thinks that the CP guys they cannot solve real world problems. They solve just some math problems which will never be used. But it is not the case. They think that you will not be able to solve real world problems. But it's not the case, as I already said. That it depends upon you that what you choose first and what you choose later on. But you will have to do both of them, as you need the problem solving skill and you need that. How can you actually implement? How can you implement that in some real project? You need to learn both the things. So I think that first you decide that what you should learn first, and then you can go to the other one. Also, you can think about that. There are scenarios like if you haven't that CP, if you haven't done the CP, then maybe that you are solving some problem, you are implementing a feature, and you propose the n squared solution, and which can be done using OFN. That if you use some data structure carefully, there intelligently, then you can solve it in OFN. It might happen. So you see that the how you can increase the performance of your system. So you need to learn both of them. It's now up to you that what you learn first and what you learn later on. So, are there any questions? From where you learn DSA? See, there are various sites you can refer to learn DSA. I think first you should, if you are starting it, then you should learn it topic wise. So you can read editorial from somewhere that otherwise you just Google stuff, you will find enough resources over GFG. And if you are learning some CP algorithms or CP data structures, then you can refer. There is a site called CP algorithms. You can refer that as well. I personally feel that has a better implementation of most of the algorithms that you will either use in DSA or in CP. So it has a nice implementation of a lot of algorithms and data structures. Also, I think that the GFG it has a nice that thing that where you can learn DSA. Also, you can refer lead code if you think if you want to practice some standard problems. Just focus on DSA only. You do not want to involve CP. You do not want to involve those. You do not want to involve those things like which needs a more of observation kind of thing. If you do not want to involve them, you can go to lead code. You can practice problems there. They have better problems, so oriented more on DSA than I think other side. Compared to other sites, lead code has better problems.
thank you everyone.
सर आप भी पढ़ो सबसे ज्यादा पढ़ो यार सुमांग सर can we have a minute this session? I think you can ask your doubt here. And if you have some doubt that you want me to ask personally, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Insta, or you can ask me there. Are there more questions?
So if there is no question, then we can end this session.
Just practicing. See, there is a question that how much practicing you were perceived in a single day in your daily routine. Uh, I wasn't practicing daily. Actually, I would say that I used to practice whenever I was getting a free time. I was practicing it accordingly. And if you ask like in a normal day when I have free time, then I used to solve 5 or 6 problems, city problems. But yes, I wasn't doing it daily. But yeah, I was doing it regularly. Whenever I get free time, that sometimes it happens that you have pressure from college, a lot more assignments, a lot more projects. So you stop for some time, but do continue it again when you get to free time. So now I did the same. So when there are other works, my college work, I stopped it for a few time, and then when I get time, and I started again. I cannot measure it in terms of the hours that how many hours I was putting there. 5 to 6 problems sometimes. Yeah, that was all. Okay, a more personal question. I would not be answering it.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining this session.
And thank you, team. Thank you for inviting me, and I thank you all the people who joined me. I hope that there was something for you to learn from this, and I hope this will be helpful in some way. Once again, thank you, Sakti.
So if you are not connected with us, then you can connect with us in any platform. And at the end, thank you everyone for making this possible. Thank you. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.